Parnell, thank you for giving us your time. What's the fundamental difference between Wayne Parnell now to Wayne Parnell from 5 years ago?
So I think if I do an assessment, I think two words jump out. I think trust, just trusting in my ability, trusting everything that I've gone through, and trying to call on those experiences. The other one would be belief, and I think trust and belief probably go hand in hand. Just having that self-belief and again, like trusting everything that I've done previously, and I think that's been the biggest change for me.
And trusting everything that you've done to get you here, so you don't feel like you have to prove yourself?
Yeah, I think probably in the past I've been guilty of trying to be a different type of player, and maybe also not feeling too comfortable being in the group, trying to be a different cricketer to what I can bring. Whereas now it's trusting the skill that I have and just backing that completely.
So the bigger picture is the World Cup later this year. How much of this series is about trying out a few different working combinations with a bat and ball, as opposed to winning the series as a whole?
I think firstly winning the series here in India is very, very important. I'm not sure if we have won a T20 series here before, so obviously trying to do that would be first prize. But then obviously the bigger picture is the World Cup. But it's a difficult one because obviously we don't know what type of combination we'll be playing yet. So I think it can sort of be seen as a bit of a, not really a trial, but just figuring out different combinations, seeing how people play together. But I think first prize obviously winning the series.
What is your assessment of the conditions that you experienced at today's practice?
It's firstly very different from Delhi. Delhi was quite dry. Here it's very humid. We are obviously at the coast, so it does have that kind of more humid feel to it. So definitely a lot more sweaty during training. But the actual wicket and the outfield look pretty good. There was a little bit of swing around when we were bowling on the side strip. And I am expecting a bit more bounce here than Delhi. Delhi was a bit more skiddy, so hopefully there's a little bit more bounce.
And the team is 1-0 up in the series, but there's still 4 matches to go. What's the message from the coach and captain around their expectations?
So the big message was just trying to take one game at a time. Obviously we are playing at different venues, whereas over the last probably 2 years with bubbles, we've ended up playing multiple games on the same venue. So it's about assessing conditions and just trying to adapt according to what we're faced with. So obviously this Qatar wicket will be completely different to the Delhi wicket, and game 3, 4 and 5 will also play differently. So it's just about assessing and just playing according to those conditions.
You were talking about how there was a bit of swing today when you were using the strip on the side. Does that get you excited, and what were the bowlers discussing during practice?
Yeah, I think obviously from past experiences in India, the ball does tend to swing a little bit in the first 2 or 3 overs, and obviously with us being at the coast here, it might do that as well. Also with a little bit of extra bounce, might bring in the edge of the bat. But then having said that, because there's a little bit more bounce, it might play into the batter's hands as well if you can get in and get set, because when there's more consistent bounce, you can tend to hit the ball or strike the ball better. But again, it's just about seeing what we come up with tomorrow night.
Final question. We saw a few of the guys, yourself included, hitting the ball really nicely out on the middle. How was that, and just what feel did you get from the conditions in terms of the way that you have to go about your power hitting?
Yeah, I think firstly it just showed that the outfield is actually very small, so using that when I'm bowling, obviously you have to be really smart about where you want to get hit. Also with an extra bit of bounce, hitting the ball long was I wouldn't say easy, but easier, and you could actually hit it more consistently because of that bounce. Whereas in Delhi it was a little bit skiddy, so sometimes it ends up hitting the tail of the bat. Whereas here if you just had a nice swing, you could actually hit it miles. So yeah, hopefully we can use that to our advantage, and hopefully the Indian batters must time everything.